Hello, everybody. It's Friday, which means you are getting a new video. I hope you're all doing really well. Let's get into it. As you saw in the beginning of the video, I made the backside of my paper wet. I do that so that when I start working on the front, it doesn't curl up on me, but rather starts laying flat again. The more water and paint I introduce to the front, the quicker it's going to flatten out again. And I like to do that. It also helps me keep the paint a little bit wetter longer, just in case I need that. But it's mainly for the paper to flatten out so that I can work and don't have to tape it down. Like it was mentioned in the title of this video, I am using the exact same color palette that I did last week. I just wanted to do something different with it because I really liked how the last one turned out. It's funny because I would have never put all of these colors together normally, but it just proves to me once again that I need to play more and explore with different color palettes a lot more than I do. Don't we all just tend to grab the colors that we're most comfortable with and that we like the most? And that is certainly the case for me. I know I wanted to do some abstract florals, and I wanted a focal point, meaning the three larger blobs, that was going to be my focal point. So I took a little bit of a gamble placing these dots, these blobs, in the hopes that it would all work out in the end. I did something similar in green a while back, and if I can remember, I will link it in the description box below this video, so if you want you can have a look at it. So I had a little bit of an idea of what it was supposed to look like. To intensify the colors a little bit, I put some of that purple in with the Quinacridone Rose and just made that a little bit darker. Here I'm adding the Moonglow, and because it is a granulating color, it lends itself really well when I add it to that wet pink. As I am defining the flower buds a little bit more, I'm trying to think what I can do next, because I have this empty bottom part. It's always hard for me to fill that, make it look cohesive but not overdo it. And I also know that I need to add a little bit more depth to it. I decided I wanted some leafy bits on the bottom to fill that in, but I also wanted to give the painting some layers, and in order for me to do that, I had to do this step first. So there's a little bit of planning that goes into creating this piece for once. I took one of the purples and I added some white to it just to lighten it up a little bit. That turned it more into a gray, which I really liked. Now that I have these layers, I can anchor the other set of flowers onto that so that they don't just float in midair. The challenge for me is always to not be too heavy-handed on my bottom layer. I tend to go very dark, very fast, and especially with these darker colors, I had to be super careful not to do that. But it turned out okay, and now that everything is dry, I can go back in and intensify certain areas a little bit more and make them stand out a little bit more. I am super happy with how this looks, and so now I can start focusing on the rest of the page. The next step is adding foliage, and for that first one I am using the natural tint color. It is a very dark gray, and it's even more intense because I'm adding more pigment. I've used quite a bit of water on that one, so it took a while to let it dry. I like to let my colors dry naturally and not take a hairdryer to it. For the second part, I am using one of the darker purples that I'm using, and somehow it ended up being a little bit more transparent, and so it almost looks like I have done this one first. It ends up looking like it's more in the background, which is fine by me. That wasn't what I wanted, but I'll take it. And so when that one was dry, I went over the first one a little bit more with the natural tint, just to make that stand out a little bit more. Instead of a white pen, I'm going to try something different today. I have this pen that comes with different nibs, and I always thought I was working with the thinnest one or the smallest one, but I just looked through my nibs and it turns out I have some that are even finer. So I'm gonna try that with the Dr. P.H. Martin's bleed proof white, which I have diluted a little bit with water just to make it a little bit easier to work with. And this is a brand new nib, so it's repelling the paint a little bit, and that's why I'm using the brush to add the paint or the white to it. So let's see if this works any better, because if you know, I have been struggling finding a white pen that works on the rougher watercolor paper and on top of watercolor or other mediums. So I'm gonna try that. The question is, what should I draw? Let me think about that for a second and then I'll be right back. I'm a little bit worried that by diluting the bleed proof white, it's not going to stay bleed proof, but only time will tell. I am going to fill in the circles with the brush because it's easier. I am happy with the decision to fill those in because that pop of white really helps the overall picture. Alright, I think I've explained everything that needed to be explained. If you do have any more questions, feel free to leave me a comment and I will do my best to answer them all. I'm going to let you enjoy watching the rest of this video with just some music over it. Thank you so much for joining me this week. Have a wonderful weekend and stay creative wherever you are in the world. I'll see you next week.